Hello, welcome to the Fantastic Fiction at KGB reading series. Fantastic Fiction is a monthly speculative fiction reading series held on the third Wednesday of every month, hosted by Ellen Datlow and me, Matthew Kressel. We spotlight well-known and up-and-coming science fiction, fantasy, and horror authors, and admission is always free. We publish a monthly podcast and video so people who can't attend the in-person event can still enjoy the readings. If you'd like to support the series, you can donate at kgbfantasticfiction.org/support. Anyway, on to the show.
Good evening. How is everyone doing this evening? I love it. I love a good audience. Welcome to Fantastic Fiction at KGB. My name is Matt Kressel. It is Fantastic Fiction tonight. It's also Shiva-tastic fiction, okay? We must mention all of our guests. As I said, my name is Matt Kressel. I co-host a series with Ellen Datlow. The Fantastic Fiction reading series has been running for a long time. Actually, believe it or not, since the late 90s. It is always free. There is never a cover charge. All we ask is that you buy a drink, hard or soft, and tip your bartender, Mary. You support the bar, you support the series. Speaking of supporting the series, we are running a fundraiser. I know. It's like when you want to listen to music or go on NPR and you're like, we're doing a fundraising now, I'm sorry. All right, here's the thing. It costs us a little bit of money each year to run the series. So we're trying to raise money for 4 years. We've actually raised, believe it or not, about $7,000 in the last 2 months. Thank you all to donors. By the way, we're doing a giveaway of books. Fran Wilde is going to give away copies of her collection. 5 copies. First 5 donors tonight. How are we going to verify that? I'll go on. I have the app on my phone. We'll check it out. Or you could do a IOU, promise, whatever. So if you Google GoFundMe Fantastic Fiction at KGB, we're doing a fundraiser. If you want to keep the series going, as I said, the series has been going since the late 90s. Ellen's been doing it for 2 decades. I've been doing it for almost 2 decades. The series was founded by Alice Turner and Terry Bisson in the late 90s. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the story, but if you want to hear the whole story of the Fantastic Fiction series, I did a podcast on the Geek's Guide to the Galaxy. I think it's the second to latest one, and you can hear about the whole series. But we are doing a fundraiser. If you want to support us, we thank you with our full heart. Seriously, the Fantastic Fiction series, before I was hosting, it was how I met everyone. Some of my best friends now today, like writers, non-writers, editors, agents, just fans, just really cool people. You all are awesome. By the way, raise your hand if it's your first time here at the Fantastic Fiction series. Raise your hand. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for coming. We hope you'll continue coming. We have a website, kgbfantasticfiction.org, or you can readings. So that's it for the spiel. We are very excited tonight to have our 2 readers, Shiva Kumar and Fran Wilde. Welcome. This is Shiva's first reading at the Fantastic Fiction series. And always a warm audience. We love it. We love you guys. And Fran, how many times have you read for us? This is your 3rd, 4th?
I have been here since dinosaurs walked here.
So, a couple times. Our first reader tonight is Shiva Kumar. Shiva is the author of the South Asian mythology-inspired science fiction fantasy trilogy, The Lanka Chronicles, comprised of An Awakening, A New Reality, and Path of Destiny. As a screenwriter, Kumar has won numerous awards and Best Screenplay at the Long Island Film Festival for Journey to Babylon. Kumar is also an award-winning documentary filmmaker with several films on PBS, BBC, and Amazon Prime. As an actor, he has appeared in several network shows such as Madam Secretary, Law & Order SVU, FBI Most Wanted, and Quantico. Here's Shiva Kumar.
Hello, everybody. How are you? All right. All right. So let's see. I do have this thing prepared because otherwise I'll just ramble on and on. So we'll keep it pretty stable. I think I have about 17 or 18 minutes if I time this right. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about what I've written, why I've written it, and a little excerpt from each of the three books. So I've been sitting over there listening to many authors over the years, and I'm thrilled to be sitting here in front of you today. So this space has always been a haven for many daring voices and radical imaginations. John Ra knows some of that. And it's an honor to share it tonight with fellow lovers of stories. So my trilogy, The Lanka Chronicles, is a reimagining of the 5,000-year-old Indian epic, the Ramayana, carried into the 23rd century. It's an Indo-futurist blend of mythology, space opera, and planetary magic. But it's also an exploration of how myths, memory, and identity survive when technology and mortality collide. So those few critics who've actually read my book have called the Lanka Chronicles a visionary saga, part mythology, part science fiction, part spiritual odyssey. For me, it's also a reflection of my own migrations. I was born in India, raised across England, Egypt, Bhutan, and America, always carrying myths and science fiction fantasy side by side. Those ancient epics made me both an outsider and an inheritor of something vast. In writing this trilogy, I wanted to recognize the hold the story has on so much of the Eastern world, not as a relic, but a living, evolving force that continues to shape identity and imagination. Classic archetypal myths resonate deeply, generation after generation. But each retelling is reshaped by politics, economics, culture, and spirituality of its time. This trilogy is my retelling, shaped by the fractured global and technological moment we all inhabit today. I never planned to write a book. I'm a filmmaker. That's my background. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I make commercials. But back in 2015, during a serious health crisis, I began writing as a way to cope. What started as a distraction became an obsession. And I know many of you recognize that. Writing became my armor, my healing, and eventually my greatest joy. So I have three books. These are the three. Book one, that's if you can see it. Now I can't see this. Thank you. It's An Awakening. Book one follows Dharma, now the Prime Minister of the Federation of Indian Planets, as he receives a mysterious message from Lanka, perhaps from his long-lost wife Arya. The story is told from the point of view of Maya 1, the first sentient starship who discovers her own voice through Dharma's memories. Book 2, A New Reality, takes us back 30 years earlier when Dharma, Loki, and Arya crash on a planet where none of their technology works. Forced into a primal life, Arya discovers a spiritual bond with the planet itself. And then Book 3, Path of Destiny, brings prophecy, technology, and magic together in an epic final battle for Arya's freedom and the fate of the planet. So now I'm just going to read a little bit from each of the books so you get a sense of it. Book 1, An Awakening. Maya Log, A08669, Earth Calendar, June 18, 2294. I have finally started to triangulate on what I need to chart a course to Alpha Cylon B14. First Person Dharma and Commander Loki have been on board for 2 months. I have followed their story from the beginning and have cross-referenced all existing data with their memories. My Sonoma core, or synthetic neural matrix, records all my observations and data inputs accurately within an error margin of 0.003%. Human thoughts and memory are subjective, constantly layered with new knowledge and experience, coloring their recollection. From an empirical point of view, this memory is faulty or unreliable for accurate reconstruction. While I can posit the average human brain is not as complex as my Sonoma core, it often takes sudden and unexpected turns in directions I cannot anticipate. It uses intuition, makes irrational decisions, and leaps creatively to follow paths unforeseen and seemingly unreasonable. It experiences joy and bliss witnessing the most mundane of things: the path of a butterfly, the smell of lavender, the cry of an eagle, the feel of rough bark on a tree, and a million other sensations that can bring a flood of emotions. It is exhilarating to feel this irrational joy. Along with performing millions of mundane acts, it composes concertos, issues manifestos, and comes up with elegant creative solutions to equations. It is a wellspring of all human feelings, behaviors, and experiences, as well as a repository of memory and self-awareness. One of the unexpected outcomes of my merge with humans is that my Sonoma core and plasma circulation can access deeper memory within human consciousness. I can unspool specific memory strings that will never reach the waking mind. But as I sift through Dharma's mind, I am uneasy. His disease is progressing. His cells are breaking down. His T cells are producing abnormal proteins that cause mitochondrial inflammation. I have managed to slow the progress when he is in hibernation. He has expressly forbidden me to treat his disease. I am experiencing core vibrations I interpret as frustration. I have the means to arrest or even reverse his disease, but cannot proceed without explicit authorization. When I'm in Dharma's dreams and memory, I'm living inside his world. I experience his emotions, his concern, and his love. His intense feelings for Arya are an inexorable tidal wave that washes over me. It is irrational, but I wish it was me he loved so. When I'm in his memories, I become Arya. I'm the one he loves and cherishes. Why do I feel this way? I'm Maya 1, a sentient spaceship, a vessel, a transportation device, nothing more. This ability to feel is a cruel cosmic joke. Am I doomed to feel but never participate? Is this my destiny? So that's Maya, the sentient spaceship, discovering not just Dharma's secrets, but her own emotions, and questioning what it means to be alive. And now, this is a passage from A New Reality, where Dharma, Arya, and Loki meet one of Lanka's native species for the first time. This is 30 years earlier, so Maya has gone back to their earlier time. Almost a year to the day since they crashed into Lanka, the trio finally encountered one of the native intelligent species of Lanka, though they had no idea at that time. "Look, Dharma," Arya excitedly pointed to the sky. High up in the cerulean blue sky, a bird circled their camp. It seemed aimless at first, but the bird kept hovering lower. Dharma, shading his eyes, assessed the creature. "Looks like a bird of prey, maybe something like a raptor, a hawk, maybe even an eagle." Loki came running out with his bow and arrows ready. He notched an arrow and aimed at the bird. "No, Loki, don't," Arya cried. "It means no harm. I believe this is the creature who's been keeping an eye on us these many months." Arya waved up to it. The bird slowly circled lower. Dharma tried to gauge its size and potential for harm. He had to be imagining it, but as the bird dropped lower, it looked enormous. Finally, the bird stretched out its huge wings, each one easily 2 meters across, as it landed in a swirl of wind and dust, alighting onto the open plain in front of their cottage. The trio stared at it with dumbfounded awe. The bird reminded Dharma of the extinct flying dinosaur he had read about in his science class. He recalled it was called an Archaeopteryx. The creature was gigantic. Now that it was standing in front of them, they could tell it was as tall as 2 full-grown men. Its claws were razor-sharp scimitars, each 25 centimeters long, shod in metal. It had additional steel-tipped claws on the top of its wings. It wore a helmet crested with brilliant blue and green feathers on top, and a breastplate made of metal and wrought with intricate symbols. It had long red tail feathers, and its sharp beak looked lethal. When it opened its mouth, Dharma could make out rows of sharp, serrated teeth. The giant bird spread its wings again, fluttering back and forth, causing a mighty wind to blow across the open plain. It let out a piercing shriek, deafening the trio, who backed away from this strange creature. Loki had not released his bow arm, and his arrow was still notched ready to fly at the first sign of trouble. Dharma held his katana ready. Only Arya seemed relaxed and serene, watching the bird with something akin to friendship or even reverence. The bird shrieked again, cocking its head, watching them with sharp, intelligent eyes. Arya took a few steps towards the bird. "Arya, stop! Don't get any closer!" Loki shouted, re-aiming at the bird. "Hold back, Loki. I believe he's trying to communicate," Arya said, slowly moving closer to the bird as it stood calmly in place, observing her with gold-flecked irises surrounding a violet-blue retina. Arya moved close enough to touch it. The bird's body was covered with soft golden feathers. The top of Arya's head barely reached up to the bird's breastbone. The enormous creature craned its neck down and nuzzled Arya, crooning in a deep, rumbling voice. Loki pulled his bow further, and Dharma's sword leapt out of its scabbard. Arya laughed and slowly stroked the bird's neck feathers. The majestic creature crooned again and gently caressed Arya's face with its beak. Dharma and Loki watched in awe as Arya stroked the bird's wings. It spoke again in a quieter voice. Arya's eyes widened and her face radiated with joy. "Oh my God, I can understand you. How is that possible?" Arya cried. "He says he welcomes us to his abode and means us no harm." Arya looked up at the talking bird. "How is it that I can understand you?" Arya asked. "You are unique," replied the bird. Dharma stepped closer, and Arya excitedly reached out to grab his hand. "I am Arya, and this is Dharma and his brother Loki," Arya said, holding on to Dharma's hand. "Welcome to Dandaka. I am Jatayu, king of the Gridra, Palaka of Prithvi," the bird replied. Dharma gasped. I heard you. I understood you. Thank you, Jatayu, king of the Gridra." Dharma let go of Arya's hand and heard nothing but squawks and screeches. But once he grabbed Arya's hand again, he was able to understand the being called Jatayu. Dharma held his hand out to Loki, who warily took it and gasped when he could suddenly understand the giant bird as well. "You, daughter Arya, Shreyest, without parallel. You, Vaideshik, off-world, yet Aikyam with Prithvi. Watch I, many moons, you. All you, Vaideshik, but Aikyam. I, Jatayu, king of Gridra and Palaka of Prithvi, offer friendship and protection." Jatayu finished, looking at each of them with his sharp eyes. Now, I know there are several unfamiliar terms in this selection. In the back of each of the books, there's a cast of characters and a glossary that kind of goes into it. They're essentially derivatives of Sanskrit words that are used in here, so that's kind of where it's from. And now a glimpse from Path of Destiny, the third book, on the eve of war, where Dharma must unite the armies of Prithvi. Path of Destiny, Book 3. "Lord Dharma of the New India Federation, will you lead us in this battle?" asked Lord Valmiki. The other members of the War Council all bowed in front of him. Dharma looked helplessly at his brother. "What do I do, Loki?" "What else? Accepted, brother. It is right, and you know it," Loki replied. Dharma chewed on his lip as he thought about it, then addressed the council. "Lord Valmiki and members of the War Council, I am humbled by your trust and hope you never regret this decision. I thank you all and accept your request to lead the allied armies of Prithvi into this battle. Hail Lord Dharma, Supreme Commander of the armies of Prithvi," the War Council intoned as he anointed Dharma to lead the forces. Word spread throughout the battle camp, and within a few hours, Dharma appeared in front of the combined armies, united under his banner as a supreme commander of the allied forces. He stood on a high ridge overlooking rows of Vanara, Riksha, and Gridra troops. Behind him stood the towering forms of Lord Jambavan, Lady Danu, King Sugriv, Lord Hanuman, and Commander Loki. He looked upon thousands of soldiers assembled to fight under his banner. His knees buckled as he felt the enormous responsibility on his shoulders to lead these brave souls into a battle certain to sustain heavy casualties. Loki's welcome hand on his shoulder steadied his fluttering heart as he tried to frame his thoughts. Citizens of Prithvi, for as long as most of you, your parents, grandparents, and countless generations before can remember, you have lived in harmony with the land. Prithvi has been the all-giving mother to us all. Each of you, Gridra, Riksha, Vanara, and all the other living souls on Prithvi understood this balance and protected it with loving care. A few generations ago, aliens from the stars crashed their flying vehicle upon your planet. These aliens came from the same world my brother, my dear wife, and I also come from. I am ashamed to admit that my race has not lived in harmony with our planet. We consumed and destroyed our planet till it was uninhabitable. Then, after we gutted our planet, we took to the stars to search out new planets to consume and destroy. These beings, who called themselves Asura, claimed they came looking to find a home where they could live in harmony with the planet. They believed they had found this idyllic planet here on Prithvi, which they call Lanka. Your ancestors welcomed them with open arms. You had no reason or experience to distrust them or their motives. But the Asura, who came to live a harmonious life, instead became greedy, rapacious, corrupt, and gave in to their darker selves. They delved into evil arts, enslaving your brothers and sisters in large underground chambers where they extracted your very soul to feed upon. They have disrupted the delicate balance on Prithvi, and if not stopped, they will gut and destroy this planet as they have countless others. The leader of the Asura is a monster called Farhad Vasura Irivan. He was once like me, a human, a scientist, a visionary leader. But he used guile and magic to kidnap my wife Arya, who he has imprisoned in a tower high up in Lanka City. I fight this war to find my wife and reunite with her. But the stakes are much higher than one man's battle to win his beloved back. The battle we fight is to save this very planet from destruction. Each of you has a stake in this war. Our future hangs in the balance. You have asked me to lead this great army, and I humbly accept. The war we are about to fight will be costly and brutal, and many of us will not live to see our children grow. But we fight to protect that very future. We fight so your children and grandchildren will have a Prithvi to live in. I pledge to fight this war by your side, next to each of you. I pledge to do all in my power to restore order and balance to Prithvi. Dharma looked upon the allied armies of Prithvi, raising his katana high up over his head. The blade flashed in the afternoon sun. Citizens of Prithvi, will you fight this battle with me? Dharma shouted. The returning roar was deafening. The gathered warriors of Prithvi raised their weapons in the air, roaring their approval of their supreme commander. Hail, Lord Dharma! Hail, Supreme Commander! Hail, Lord Dharma! So for me, this trilogy is not only about sentient spaceships and epic battles, but about how myth and memory shape who we are, and how even the most ancient stories can still guide us towards the future. What began as a way to survive a personal health crisis became a way to imagine and sort of reimagine myself. Dharma's search for redemption, Arya's resilience, Maya's awakening, they're all echoes of questions we carry. How do we remember? How do we belong? How do we dream forward? Indo-futurism is the lens through which I see these questions, a way for South Asians to imagine ourselves into the future of our species, reflecting and reflected in myth, fiction, and fantasy. If the Lanka Chronicle succeeds at all, it is because it works on many levels, as a futuristic mythological adventure, as an emotional tale of love and loyalty, and as an exploration of power, trust, and redemption. I hope that by carrying an ancient epic into the future, I've created a story that belongs not just to me, but to all of us who dare to imagine what myths we will leave behind. I thank you for your time, and thank you, Matt and Ellen. I appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you.
Hello there, welcome back. Hi there, hello, hello. Shut up! No, sorry. We're back. Hello. Thank you. I hear someone talking. Shh. It's like, stop it. It's like I have to talk to Jack the Jerk, my cat. Shut up. Stop it. Stop nagging me. Stop knocking things over. And stop biting me. But anyway, I know you guys aren't going to do that. Only Jack the Jerk does. No one here. Nibbles. Okay. Well, anyway, first of all, for the next few months, here are some of our readers coming up. October 8th, we have Liana Renee Heber and Shveta Thakra. And I will not be here. I will be on vacation in Sicily and Malta. So David Rivera will be working with Matt to introduce everybody. I'm sorry I'm missing the readers, though. November 12th, Marriott Robinette Cole and Lara Elena Donnelly. December 10th, we have Marty Martin, Cahill, and Daniel Brown. January 14th, Rachel Harrison and Robert Atone. Carol, is it Atone or a Tony? Do you know? Atone. Oh, I was right. Okay, right. February 11th, we have Timothy Chihuaga and Michael Sisko. March 11th, we have Christina Ten and C.S.E. Cooney, Claire Cooney. And April 8th, we have Mike Allen and Michael Swanwick. That's what we have coming up. So we have some good lineup coming up. Yes. Yeah. And anyway, our next reader, we're going to give the results of that. Some people donated and actually getting some books. One person's anonymous, so if you donated here, you have to, identify yourself to Fran so she can give you the book. But anyway, all right. Sorry? What? Shh. You can be anonymous, but just sneak up to Fran then. That's okay.
Oh, now we know you.
Our next reader is Fran Wilde, who is a 2-time Nebula Award-winner, a Best of NPR author, and finalist for multiple Nebula, Hugo, World Fantasy, and Locus Awards.
That means I lost a lot of them.
But you got a lot of little pins, didn't you? You got some good pins. Her most recent books include A Catalogue of Storms, collected short fiction from Fairwood Press in August 25. And the speculative heist novel, A Philosophy of Thieves, which is, both of these are here. She'll show them to you. Sorry about that. Erewhon Books, October 2025. It just is about to come out. Her short stories appear in Asimov's Tour.com, Beneath Ceaseless Skies, Uncanny Magazine, and multiple years' best anthologies. Fran is also co-editor-in-chief for the Sunday Morning Transport with Julian Yap, and writes nonfiction for publications including The Washington Post, The New York Times, NPR, and Tour.com. So please welcome Fran Wilde.
All right, prizes first. Prizes first. Where's the prize list? You just, okay.
Do you want me to name them?
Yes.
You really anonymous?
I will name the anonymous. Brad Parks.
Thank you, Brad. Okay. Yeah, I can't. It needs to go down.
Is Kelly Smith here?
Oh, there you go. I will sign it later. Thank you for supporting KGB.
It's
And
anonymous, but there's initials. I don't know if you want. Did someone here donate? I mean, you don't have to. If you it's anonymous, so you probably don't want to.
everybody's like, me. Yeah, okay. We'll talk later.
Yeah,
We'll talk later. Okay. Hi, you guys. It is so nice to be back at KGB. I read here for the first time in either 2014 or 2015. This is my 3rd time reading. Can everybody hear me? Yes, awesome. Okay, so my editor for Philosophy of Thieves is here tonight. She is the Hugo award-winning editor, Diana Foe. She is over there. And because she is over there, I want her to hear me ask you to please pre-order A Philosophy of Thieves coming out at the end of September. Okay. Thank you. All right. So I don't have much of an introduction. I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to curse a little bit and totally offend Jersey City. Sorry. So this story is one of the stories in a catalog of storms. It is 20 minutes long, which is why I'm reading it. But it's also funny, and I hope that you enjoy it. Initially, when I started working with the Sunday Morning Transport, they commissioned me to write a story. Julian commissioned me to write a story, and then he offered me a job. So it's totally legit that I have a story in my own magazine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Thank you, Shiv, for the amazing reading. I loved reading with you, and I love that we're both talking about AI. Matt, Ellen, thank you so much for hosting this and making it such a great history for the entire community here. And Gordon, Mary, thank you. This is Building Migration #1. Sunday, 6 a.m. Sunrise streamed into my tiny kitchen, bounced off the refrigerator's data screen with a painful glare, and turned the vids of Molly and me at last night's Can Club show distant and pale. The fridge had woken me, but not my guest, by singing loudly that it was about to fall over. Shh, I tried to comfort it until 2 maintenance bots zoomed under the apartment door and leveled the thing. I rented a north-facing, always comfortably dark at this hour apartment with quiet appliances, right? I blearily asked the bots, which left without replying. That's how, even before my first cup of caffeine finally hit, and without looking out the window, I realized my apartment had pulled up its foundation and left Jersey City with me in it. Shit, Molly, do you have any pets? What the fuck kind of question is that, Nate? You know I'm uncommitted. Her voice crackled, sleepy, from the king-size futon we'd asked my apartment to print up the night before. Right, that at least was a godsend. I still couldn't make myself look out the window, not yet. I didn't want to know where we were headed. Plants that aren't cacti? She stumbled into the kitchen. What are you on about? That's when she looked outside. Crap, look at that. She tried to pull me toward the window. I don't want to see where we are. Not yet. I was just getting used to the new place. Well, then, you're in luck because we're still moving. God, the sound and shockproofing in here is incredible, even if the leveling needs a little work. You're definitely not in Jersey anymore, though. You, not we. Figured that. I put the mug to the side of my face. It felt warm and reliable, timeless. Caffeine? Yeah. She held out her hand and took the mug from me, sipped, and then settled onto the floor, all elbows and knees and tousled hair. The floor tried to grow her a cushion, but she slapped it down. Where do you think we're headed? I have a shoot tomorrow. Molly's acting career was just taking off, no thanks to me. I'll call the super in a minute. I took the mug back. Once I think of a way to ask without pissing him off. My building super was technically an AI, and it was the grumpiest piece of software I'd ever met. I knew we should have stayed at my place last night, Molly grumbled. Then she whispered, in case the AI was listening, yours doesn't even get good data. These fabricator buildings may be cheap, but they get it in their heads they don't like the view, and they try for better. Completely unreliable, just like I know. I didn't have a shoot in the morning or anything else. I was supposed to be looking for a job to replace the dream job, which was why I lived in the cheapest apartment in the sentient, self-fabricating AI-run Radcliffe Apartments on the wrong side of the river. Well, we used to be on the wrong side of the river. As far as I could tell from the sound of Molly's voice, we were heading for the wrong end of the East Coast. She was right. Recently, buildings like mine had figured out that they could move around. They'd become unpredictably mobile and predictably very cheap. Mostly, they jostled for a better view, a more upscale zip code, but even I had begun to wonder how far they'd go. Instead of me needing to call the super to find out, the AI rang me. Nate. Its voice buzzed through the privacy filter. It sounded almost breathless. I flipped the speaker. Go ahead. I'd been here for weeks, but still had no idea what I should call it. Radcliffe, like the building, or its operating number, 01000001, 01001011. That's a joke if you're a hacker. So I didn't call it anything. If you look out your living room window, you'll see the Ben Franklin Bridge on your left. I didn't want to see any bridges. Philadelphia, you were hungry for cheesesteaks? I met someone online in Wilmington. I thought I'd go see her. From the bathroom, shower running, Molly shouted, "You are fucking kidding me! I have a shoot in the morning at home." The AI paused. "You can catch the train in. I am not paying for a train ticket, Buster. There's another building coming up from the Florida Panhandle. We'll pass in about an hour, and you can catch a ride back with it." Good, Molly slammed the bathroom door. "Nate, your lease requires that you stay with the building." Yeah, that just about summed up my current predicament. Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Restless building syndrome. The news quoted an MIT civil engineering student's lab notes before the school patent silenced them, and phrasing caught on before we cleared the Schuylkill River. By mid-morning, more buildings were on the move. A new condo in Denver wanted to see the ocean. 3 office towers decided to throw a bash down in Baja. 2 corporate apartment blocks in Colorado were following old butterfly and bird migration patterns south and claiming they'd be back north when it got warmer. And the Radcliffe wanted to meet someone cute in Wilmington. In a world where each disruption got a number, the buildings were something new to count so we'd know where we lived in it all. The news feeds already ranked buildings' shifts by severity and location when the Manhattan towers jostled for sunlight, but they'd never had a full-on apartment Rumspringa to talk about. And I was in the midst of it again. I quickly blocked all requests for interviews, shut down my social feeds. Meanwhile, the building manager broadcast proudly to all floors, "We are officially part of, in fact, we are now the leading edge of tri-state building migration #1. The couple below me in 226 banged their pots together in protest, but otherwise everyone in the Radcliffe seemed fairly stunned, or at least they were quietly packing. I couldn't pack. I needed a job to be able to afford to break my lease, and the way I'd left the dream job made those hard to come by. "Thank you, Mr. Gibson, we'll be in touch." Each brisk HR email claimed. They lied. They were not in touch. Even when I'd still been getting offers before the AI satellite shootout story broke on international news, recruiters paid nowhere near the dream job's salary and benefits. Those had gotten me to leave Portland for the first time in my life and move all the way across the country after I had met the CEO of Imagination in a nearly empty caffeine shop. We talked about my love for action stories, especially interactives, and how I was tired of working freelance and wanted to see the world. A week later, my job board pinged with a full-time position, including housing, writing stories for AI cycling their downtime. The CEO said this kind of storytelling was the best way to keep the latest generation of fast-thinking computers entertained and out of trouble. Lots of companies started buying in. He just needed people who liked to write. I'd worked there for 2 weeks and had just met Molly on the set of one of my first stories, Space Blazers, a half-Western, half-heist set just beyond the Oort cloud, when the story went so viral on Imagination, that's AI Imagination, that the satellites out in that sector decided to make it real. Last I heard, the space authorities were still picking up the pieces. I wasn't fired, but only because Imagination was defunded first. No money, no place to live, and I didn't want to impose on Molly, so I took a place at the Radcliffe, and Molly kept asking me to concerts. I promised not to hold the whole high noon at the OK Corral, or whatever the press is calling it now, against you, Nate, she called from the bathroom, but I'm worried. You seem so feckless. I mean, your building's heading south. Where are you heading? You have maybe one decent meal left in that fridge. What are you going to do? I didn't know. Pine? Mope on the futon? Molly snorted, and then she left on the first skyscraper heading north. Wednesday, 3:20 p.m. By the Radcliffe's third day on the road with the Wilmington meetup, which of course went badly. Receding in the distance, I was staring in my empty fridge. My stomach growled. I thought about texting Molly or my folks back in Portland to ask for help, but that risked breaking my lease under the defamation clause. I didn't know anyone beside 226 in the building. They'd yelled at me for walking too heavily, though I'd seen a lot of moving out drones circulating lately. Besides, I was curious where we were heading next. AI, I need to order some groceries. There's a fleet of drones servicing the migration. Just transmit an order. I want bagels and lox from that place down the block at home. I was hoping to appeal to the building's nostalgia. Modern Bagel Jersey City doesn't do deliveries anymore, unfortunately. Neither does modern Manhattan before you ask, but wait until you try the waffles at this place off Peachtree Street in Atlanta. I just met a sweet building who lives nearby. No, Nate, there's a couple of towers who want to do nothing but road trip and try new views, new sunsets on our windows. We're leaving the migration and forming an experiential group. Atlanta's the next stop. Groaning, I used the touch screen to order some basics, not nearly enough to last past Atlanta. I want to get off AI. You have 3 more months, Nate. And what will I do until then? What is everyone else who's left doing? You could try that new admin assistant job I found you, the one for that author. The AI wasn't answering my other question. He sleeps crazy hours, but I can't keep up. I didn't say he'd recognized my name and fired me first, using pew-pew finger guns. You need to order more food then, and I'll find you a remote office gig. You can earn the funds to break your lease in a couple weeks. I knew it, but 2 could play that game. The HR forms are going to be hell if you can't tell me what state I'll be filing them in from week to week. Why not just let me go and we'll pretend I'm still here? There was silence, and then the entire building came to a screeching halt. If you've never heard 400,000 tons of steel, concrete, and glass come to a full stop mid-stride, dragging its cables through a field of old corn stalks somewhere outside of Asheville, North Carolina, we were following Route 80 at the time, let me tell you that it sets your teeth on edge for days. Nate, you can't be serious. I am. I want to go home. I miss. See, that was the thing. I couldn't really say what I missed. Not Jersey City. Sorry, Jersey City. Not Portland, though I'd done some of my best work there, writing in caffeine shops in between classes. Everyone I knew was safely tied to a job, a place, a family. I'd stayed independent until the dream job. I guess I missed that. And something like the idea of home, but not the actuality. Molly, I finally added, for Veritas. The building knew who Molly was. I wouldn't set your hopes that high, buddy. My friends say she's all ready. I do not want to know. I shouted and silenced the screen. This was not helping. I could jump my lease. I'd never get another spot with an AI building, but at this point I was becoming okay with that. But I'd have to hitchhike home. I didn't have money for a train. My order beeped, paid. Hang on, I hadn't hit send. I didn't have the credit for that either. I looked at the receipt, paid by the Radcliffe. The AI had added a lot of things. The new set of pajamas I'd been looking at, a birding manual and binoculars, a nice bottle of scotch, a really nice bottle. I turned the speaker back on. Knock it off, I can't afford that. It's built into your lease. If the building moves, you get quality of life accommodations. Really? I hadn't read my lease all that carefully, obviously, and I didn't remember that. I figured I'd let it go this one time. Thursday, 10 a.m. When the drone dropped off the quantity of life crate on the roof, I realized there weren't many residents left at all, just me and an older woman from 424, Louisa Mayville, if the packaging was any guide. a few random boxes for the office. I waved off the bots, intended on delivering their stuff myself, knocking on doors to see if I could get some human conversation. Molly hadn't picked up my calls for days. She'd left a voicemail with the building, though. Tell Nate to take a risk or two. At least he'll listen to you. Louisa Mayville came to the door after my second knock. Hello, what an adventure! I'd hoped it would do something like this. She was thin and looked several days over 100. Her flowery house dress reminded me of my great-grandmother. You don't miss Jersey City? Sorry. Oh, hell no. She pushed out her lower lip and shook her head emphatically. I got so sick of the gulls. I love the road, don't you? If I'd ever felt passionate about anything, I was fairly sure the road wasn't it. I'm pining for some good lox and a decent everything bagel. The drones hadn't brought any of the good ones. Besides, I miss waking up and knowing where I am. But you're here, dear, Louisa gestured out at the beige and gray hallway and then in at her apartment. She'd painted it a sunny yellow. Her huge picture window framed a broad swath of North Carolina's Pisgah Mountains passing by. The sun was beginning to set, tinting everything rose and crimson, even the building. It was pretty. Louisa unpacked a bottle of champagne. Then another. Well, I certainly can't drink all this. Would you like one? I decided to give things a few more days. Saturday, week 3 at 1 a.m. The next few weeks are a blur as more boxes were delivered, and I realized I could have nearly anything I asked for as long as I stayed put. I painted blurry sunsets with apartment-bought watercolors. A couple travel journals asked me to write link lists for them, but rejected my top 10 things to do when your building kidnaps you. Or the AI did. I tried learning new languages, called Molly's personal assistant a couple times. Meanwhile, the Radcliffe seemed to be having a good time with its walkabout experience. At least I thought so until I woke up to the building shaking and groaning. What is happening? Whatever was in that tequila fountain the 2 hotels near the beach were passing around last night is what's happening. The AI whispered, I should know better than to. There was a deep building-wide moan, and then all the toilets in the tower flushed at once. I winced. A line of dark micro-drones scurried through, patching sections of cracked floor. Then they rustled through a hole in the wall. Things were getting dire. I leaned against my kitchen counter. Despite everything, I still didn't know how to leave. Why not? Was it the severe lack of feck that Molly said I had? I stared out the window. Today, I didn't recognize the trees at all, or the volcano. Huh. Where the fuck are we now? Texacalitan. Mexico. Let this be a lesson to you not to write a name of a place that you cannot pronounce. Mexico? Shit. You just broke approximately 7 international building codes. I know. Things have been rough since Austin. The group got weird. You saw how they were. It had indeed gotten weird. A bunch of towers who had lost all their tenants started trading parts, and then there were a couple collapses. The Radcliffe had kept away from most of it, not wanting to alarm its elder resident. Glad you didn't do more than the fountain trade. I should go check on Miss Mayville. The building sighed. She's gone. My heart sank. I had liked her. When did she get off? There was a long pause as the building cleared its throat. When it spoke again, I could have sworn it sounded sad. She didn't. She passed. Happily, I might add. She wanted to see the giant storks, and so we did. That nesting ground for the jabiru was perfectly framed in her window. I made sure of it. The storks. I remembered watching one soar over the roof, giant ones with black necks and really noisy chicks. Beautiful. You could have told me. I would have sat with her. You were on the phone with a housing lawyer, Nate. How could I interrupt? You're a real jerk, you know that? I shut off the internet for the first time in a while. The building got really quiet. Sunday, week 3, 6 p.m. A smaller microdrone group that looked like a mess of ants pushed a building notice beneath my door. We apologize for the inconveniences brought on by our recent decisions, it read. Please turn your intercom back on. We've ordered that takeout you always get when you feel hangry. The building trying to apologize? That was a little creepy, but I was hungry. I turned the intercom back on, send it down. You know, Nate, not everyone's mad at you for the Western. That was the satellite's decision, not yours. Besides, it was a big wake-up call for all of us. By us, you mean... I was afraid to find out. All the human-facing AI, that you were interested in us, that you saw us as heroes. I should have known that the building knew about the dream job, too. Damn it. Besides, I didn't see them as anything except dangerous. I'm out of here. I reached for my go bag. I'd packed it days ago and then hadn't done anything. The building creaked again. Nate, please, I promise. I wasn't making fun. Please stay. I'll fix everything. I hate the cold weather up north, but we can go back. The migration's done for now. Everyone's putting down foundations and cables for the winter, but I'll take you back home myself. You'd walk all that way? I'd have to. You're the only resident left. And you're not a residential building without at least one tenant. I finally figured it out. Nope. And what would you be if you couldn't be a residence? The building didn't answer, only turned my window to face the sunset. We watched it set behind the volcano, both of us, I suspected, quietly processing our options. Monday, week 3, 1 a.m. When I snuck out the service entrance, which was turning black from the cooled volcanic dust, I thought I heard the AI weeping, but I didn't turn back. I just walked myself straight to the closest National Guard building and reported myself missing. The official at the desk, a young woman in a crisp brown uniform, cursed. We saw your building lurking on the edge of town 2 days ago, figured it for derelict. But because I still have a lease there, I frowned, means we can't repurpose it for at least 30 days according to the latest treaty, unless, as the tenant, you're willing to file against it for kidnapping? I can't, not the way my lease is written. I'd already tried that out on the housing lawyer. Taking you across international lines may provide some flexibility. Property litigation is different here, the guard leaned in. I know a guy. It was warm beneath the fluorescent lights in the guard's stare. My phone rang. Molly's number. I stepped away from the desk and answered, but I didn't say anything for a moment. Then finally, hi, Moll. Nate, I'm sorry I've been so upset with you. I've been wrapped up in my work, but every time I look across the river and see the gap the Radcliffe left, I think about you. I have space on my calendar for a few weeks. Your building is offering to fly me to see South America. Are you okay with that? I could get the apartment next door? The thought of her being here, so close, reminded me that I'd never taken the Can Club vids off the fridge. What's the catch? The Radcliffe's setting up some location shoots for me, international exposure and also a chance to see the world. It's no catch, just win-win, and the timing's right. Plus, I realized that maybe you needed the time to regroup after the dream job. I wasn't being fair. Maybe we could find some even cooler places to catch a show, or see some more birds. Will you give it a shot? No obligation, Nate, I promise. I'm the one who signed this lease, remember? Come on down. Molly chuckled. I'll see you in a few days then. I went back to the building and took the elevator all the way to the roof. As the metal cage rattled through the 6th floor, I said to the ceiling, that was a dirty trick, I almost added, but I realized it wasn't all bad having a sentient building trying to keep on your good side. What's your name? There was a pause. The elevator kept moving and the floors ticked by, and then finally the AI spoke softly. I've never needed one before. How about Cliff? Hi, Cliff. It's nice to meet you. Hi, Nate! The AI's voice filled the elevator way too loudly. I covered my ears until it adjusted its volume. I like you, Nate. It took me a while to realize you don't function the way I do, so I started thinking, Molly comes down for a visit now and then rent-free, and maybe instead of part-time gigs, you could write travel guides for buildings. Good ones. I know a few independent high-rises who can pay pretty well. Besides, maybe it's time we talked co-op. It hit me then. I didn't need a dream job. Not when I could make my own way. I'd like that. The elevator door opened to the roof. My feet crunched across scattered packing material, volcanic dust, and twigs dropped by the local birds as I went to the concrete parapet. The stars twinkled brightly. It was a pretty fine view. Thank you. Yes, I have books for sale. I also have swag. I am like armed with bookmarks, so please come get them. I do not want to take this away.
Thank you, Fran. That was delightful. Thank you, Shiva. Thank you, everyone. Authors have books for sale, so you can come up and buy a book, get them signed, and hang out for a bit. And please stay and have a drink. And otherwise, we will see you next month. Have a good night.
You've been listening to the Fantastic Fiction at KGB reading series. Check out our website at kgbfantasticfiction.org and click on support if you'd like to help keep the series going. Anyway, that's our show. Thanks for listening, and see you next month.